Alright, from 13 to 17 when I was a teenager, and looked like the dude in the picture I showed you earlier. Right. I was a small guy, man, right? I took up karate, right? But I was more, as I got better at it, looked like Bruce Lee, idiot, right? I was only 150 pounds when I first joined the Navy. I didn't fall to 4 years after, right? In 94, right? Anyway. I could do it all. I even was good at the physical stuff, right? The PT and all that, right? Well, you got to do a physical test every 6 months to a year or something like that. I forget the exact, amount of time you have to do it, but it's at least every year, right? And I passed mine with flying colors. I can do push-ups, though, right? Over 100. I can do sit-ups over 100, right? I can run the mile and a half in less than 6 minutes before I fail, right? You don't know me, right? I keep telling you that, idiots. You can't even believe I'm 53, can you, right? I'm 53. Now, I know I look like movie star quality 53, but yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I look like Tom Cruise on 53, alright. Okay. Well, I'm disabled. I'm home a lot. I don't go out much. When I do, I go specific places, right? I keep telling them that you can stalk me easier than I can stalk you. I'm at home alone, right? I have had girlfriends, though. I even had a woman live with me for 2 years, from 2011 to 2013. Idiots. I know. I have female friends, but it's just been a while since I've seen anybody, right? Now, her niece tried to move in with a dude, but, right, that didn't work out for other reasons, right? She was kind of two-facey, right? And I think she was doing drugs or something. Anyway. And I've been on YouTube for 15 years, right? Off and on. Some of my channels got taken down even, right? Yeah. Because I said a bad word. MF, the mother of all mothers. The funker word. The mother funker word. Yeah, I said the mother funker word. And got taken down. This was back when they were stricter. Now you can kind of say it if you're educating people on what the word means, right? But you couldn't say it then. And anyway, I'm disabled, man. I'm not trying to get in any more trouble than I already gotten into, right? And the real problem I had is with one of my ex-girlfriends, and we met at a port called Palma, on this island off the coast of Spain, right? We had a 3-day relationship, including sex, under a blanket in the park, right? Saturday in the park. I think it was sometime in April. Somewhere in there. April or May, right? I'm not sure when I met her now. It was about... Well, we left port in March, right? The first port we went to was Rhodes, Spain, right? The second one was somewhere in Italy, right? I forgot where that one was. And then the third one was Palma, and that's where I met her. That was sometime around April or May, right? And we kind of, when you cross the Atlantic, takes a few days, right? And you're in the Navy, and you're on the ship. Yeah. So anyway, we're crossing the Atlantic. We go to Rhodes, Spain first. Then we go to southern port in Italy near Naples or somewhere around there. I don't know. Right. And then the third port we went to was an island, and the port is called Palma del Morocco or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. But that's where I met my girlfriend. Well, she's the one I started hearing the voices with because of the shipmates, right? See, they were always trying to peg me to be gay, right? And maybe trying to get me to have sex with them to prove I was gay. I'm not sure of why, right? You know what I mean? Right. Sometimes the problem is the shipmate thinks you're gay and wants to, what's the word, expose you? Right. It's not that I'm gay or anything, it's just I was taught to wait for a proper girlfriend, right? And that's what I thought I had with the girl, too, right? It was a proper girlfriend, finally, right? But I had a religious experience or something that when I shared it with her, it might have freaked her out. I don't know what happened, right? Unless the shipmates were sabotaging the relationship, right? Other than that, I don't even know what happened with me and her, right? All I know is I was trying to write her normal letters and sent her a few Bible studies or something and told her about a dream I had when I was 12 that might have to do with the two witnesses. Right? And I didn't really, explain it all to her. I just told her about the dream I saw a throne with the light shining from it, and I thought I had to be one of the two witnesses. Right. And I might have got her pregnant. If I got her pregnant, I wanted to marry her afterwards. Because that's what Moses says to do in the Torah. It doesn't say you can't have premarital sex, idiot. It says if you do, you're to marry the girl, right? And you're not to use her like she's a sex object, right? And just have sex with her and abandon her in case you got her pregnant, too. You don't know. I mean, you get her with someone else. Right. All you know is she was a kid, right? Well, anyway, reading the whole Bible, because like you, I was taught that you're supposed to wait for marriage, right? But the Bible don't just say that. Some of the women the men have were more like concubines, right. What a concubine is it's the wife or the nurse or the midwife, or whatever they would call her, or maid, right, of a queen who the king also had sex with. Like with Jacob and Bilhah, right? Or Zilpah, or even Abraham and Hagar. Not Sarah, Hagar. Sarah was the true wife, right, the whole time, right? That's why when she got pregnant, his son Isaac got the inheritance because Hagar was a slave, right? She was kind of made to marry him, and she wasn't the true wife, right? She was more like a concubine, right? Well, picture this, though, Muslims, right? Islamists. You have a wife, you have difficulties getting her pregnant, and she has this maid, right? Just trying to relate it to you, right? Well, you have sex with the maid and you get her pregnant, but then afterwards, your wife gets pregnant. Whose son is the real inheritor? Your wife's son or the other son, which both women had a firstborn child, right? In the situation there, right? So whose son gets the inheritance? The slave or the wife's son? The wife's son. The wife's son usually, right, gets the inheritance, not the slave woman, right? Though you do give him a gift, right? You do treat him with respect because he is still your son, right? Just your wife couldn't have a child for some reason, right? And when she did have a child, you then had this other woman, right? And you got her pregnant, right? But not your wife yet, right? But then when you did get your wife pregnant, 3 people showed up suddenly and told her she would have a child with you, right? And she did a year later, right? But it took that epiphany, whoever they were, to show up. There were 3 of them. Now, they're called Enosh, which simply means mortals. 3 human beings showed up. Now, one of them stood before Abraham, and 2 went on to Sodom and Gomorrah. And 2 showed up at Sodom. Now, here's a picture in Isaiah. Chapter 42, he talks about Gabor, Ish, and Yolda. Who are they? Well, Yolda, for example, is a travailing woman about to give birth. Kind of like the story of Mary and Joseph. Well, anyway, one of the epiphanies of God could be a pregnant woman about to give birth, because he says, I will cry as a woman in travail, as Ish and as Gabor. 3 ways he cries, and Jesus became 3 people too, What is that? It's called a transfiguration or transmutation or transformation in the 3 other people, You can't do that here, That's called morphine, Metamorphine is when you become 3 different distinct forms, by the way. No. Right. Now, Peter, because he was ignorant, thought it was Moses and Elisha or something. Nope. No, he was wrong. It was his triumphany, or some kind of triad, involving androgynous being first, a male being, and a female being, And all 3 are the image of God, But they don't tell you this in Sunday school class. You got to read the Gnostic Gospels to understand the 3 persons of Jesus, the 3 persons of Jesus, Oh. And guess who didn't like what the Gnostics were saying or didn't want to understand it? Emperor Constantine and the Orthodox Church. See, they didn't understand it. Didn't even want to, it seemed like. Some of them. Whether it was true or not, by the way. Now, like I told you, I got judo videos, too, where I've been practicing judo through videos, This is by Schwartz. Sensei Schwartz. I'm not sure if it's ranking by now, but this was put out in the 90s or something. Fast forward it. 93, I was in the Navy in 93. Keith Schwartz, He's a black belt here, And he did a video series on judo, Anyway, and he covers the basics. This is the white belt requirements, Now, before I fail, I can do all this, silly, That was 93, or 94, This was put out in 93, I was in the Navy on the USS Saipan when they put this out, Right. I don't know if it was the same year, per se, or when they put it out, what month, or things like that, Now, that's the founder of judo. It's Jigoro Kino. And he started I think 1882, And this was done like 100 years later, to show the Kodokan judo method of self-defense, Now, he also does other things, And has about 10 self-defense videos as well, Sure you can see it. Now, I can't do that anymore. I used to could though, a little bit, right? Now I might can do some, like minor push-ups if I lay in bed or something, or sit-ups, right? But that's because I failed 3 stories. It's like I'm talking like a broken record to you, right? I keep trying to show you the record again, right? I've been on YouTube before under different names, right? I know. Now, my hair looks darker now, don't it? Well, the reason for that, again, is I'm not in a good lighting situation, right? And my hair has always been the right side higher than the left, right? You can't tell there's more hair on this side than that, right? I don't know what else I can tell you than that, right? It's like I'm talking to a broken record or something. Well, I look the same as when I did my 5 Octa videos, and that was in 2008, right? To me, even Jimmy Fallon looks the same as when he started on SNL, or he's aging good for his age, like Dick Clark, you know what I mean? Well, I look like even, what's his face? Daniel LaRusso, or what's his name, right? Ralph. Yeah, Ralph. Don't I? Do I look like Ralph a little bit? Not twins, mind you, right? I got a little Ike Barinholtz, little, even Colin Farrell a little bit, right? Maybe I'm a little lighter later. This is Akimi, Ukimi. This is rolling, right? I used to can do that too. I still can roll a little, but I ain't done it in a while. I gotta do some push-ups, right? See, I'm 300 pounds. You don't just do that. You gotta build up to it, right? Yeah. And even then, my butt hurts, my back hurts, and my ankle hurts, right? That's why I can't do it no more. And this ain't the same. It's not at all. Right. Why do you think there's 2 dummies in the picture? A little one and a bigger one, right? The bigger one is more to represent throwing a man, right? The little one is to represent throwing someone smaller or to a larger size, right? To a normal size, right? And I got other dummies, I just can't just put them up anymore, right? Well, see, that's called a cartwheel. That's like in gymnastics or a roundabout. I'll be a roundabout. That's an old song from the group Yes, I think. Right. And that's called a forward, right? Handstand or something, right? Or handspring. And this is footwork, right? And I'm taking notes on it too, right? It's easy. Right. I ain't studied it in a while, actually, not since last year, right? I only do it briefly from like spring to summer. Well, why, Shane? Well, I hurt all year round. Most people do better with any activity in the spring and summer rather than winter and fall. Or fall and winter, right? That's just kind of normal if you're injured or not, too. Right. The karate's something you can do all year round. It's just hard to do it if you got a bad back and a bad ankle now, right? And you got arthritis throughout it, right? So you can do it a little, just not a lot. Now, if you want me to, a little later, I can show you how to throw the bigger dummy, right? Which, again, I'll get to that later, but right now, I'm just resting, right? And all I did was have lunch. Again, they have a two-piece special with Popeyes, right? You get a two-piece, a side, and a biscuit and a drink for $6.99, right? And I was given the breast, the wing, right, as my two pieces, right. I also got some mac and cheese and a dessert, right. And then this was before 12, right. Then after the movie, which I saw Operation Fortune, which Jason Statham was Fortune, Audrey Plaza was Sarah, or also Mackenzie. I've used those names before. Now they cut out the Ukrainian part for some reason. That was in the commercial. But anyway. And then I went and seen, went to Carrie Hilliard's and had a pork sandwich, right? Because I'm not Jewish, right? Now, I don't eat pork in a Jewish person's house, you know what I mean? Right. I don't bring my pork sandwich. But because I was raised in the South, in Georgia, right, we would eat pork chops, right? Which are fried pork. Usually the loin of the pork, right? And you fry it, right, up in the pan. Now, I also have some lamb. I also have some, right, steak, right. And I got to eat that pretty soon or it'll go bad, right. So I'm going to eat that tomorrow or something, right. Again. Now, I've seen movies all weekend. No, I've seen Creed 3, right. And Demon Slayer, which that's a cartoon series that used to be on Adult Swim, right? If you got the Cartoon Network, after midnight on Saturdays, they have what's called Adult Swim. Princess Inuyasha, and he had a daughter or something with Komi, right? Half demon, right? I forgot her name, right? But she's Inuyasha's and Kagomi's daughter, right? What do you think's gonna happen if you date a demon and live with one in, you know, middle-aged Japan, or whatever they call it, right? Whoops, I'm getting past it, right? Sorry. So yeah, I only watched like 30 minutes. Over 30 minutes of it before I stopped watching it, but then I got distracted, right? But after I got home, I had to lay down and drink a whole thing of water. It had sweet tea, right? And water, right? That big thing there full of water, right? And sweet tea. I drink the sweet tea to help digest the food and the water too, right? I don't just drink sweet tea, I drink water too, right? They tell you gotta drink at least a half a gallon of water a day, right? Alright. Now here he's showing you some basic throws, right? Which is what I'm showing you. These are more sacrificial throws, right? Now, the reason I ain't doing that is you gotta put your butt on the ground and then throw the dummy over you, right? It's not that I can't do it. It just might hurt a little bit more to do it, right? But not saying I can't do it now, right? Despite the pain, right? But I can't do it like I used to because after I was injured. That's the problem, right? Here he's going over how to, work on foot work, right? And this is where I was at, right? Now, as a demonstration,
all right, now we've learned how to move around on the ground.
You got to know how to move around, right?
You have to be able to turn our bodies. And the pivots
even with the dummy, if I mess up myself, I can fall a little bit or do a sacrificial start, right?
The first technique is
where you go down to the ground, right?
The natural stance. We're going to step over with the right foot, pivot on the ball of the feet, and land firmly again in the natural stance. All right, this is simply an advancing 90-degree pivot. All right, you've done enough.
See that? Right. That's called Zen. Hold on. Shazen something. All right. Hold on. Either a Sugi Ashi or something like that, right? It's something to do with the feet, right? Ashi means feet in Japan, right? Japanese, right? Okay, it's Shazen Tai, right? Or something like that. Right. Or Tujo Tai, right? Or something, right? Like that, right? So that's a sweep, right? That's called a leg sweep, right? That's called a shoulder throw, right?
Your entire body to keep you upright.
Here he's showing you what's called balance, right? You gotta keep your balance when you're throwing someone or not, right? Depending on what you're doing, right?
Some of the application of these points. If I was to attack with a throw by advancing a 90-degree step, it would usually be against somebody who might be pulling you. And what I do is be right here. In this position, there's a lot of throws that you've done against the pull. If I was pushing,
Keith Schwartz is
retreating.
this dude's name, and he's a black belt. What we call a sensei, right?
So let's do some basic applications for advancing and retreating 90-degree steps. All right, now we get to some link steps, which will be very good for forward techniques. All right, the link 90 degrees to a total of 180 is good for a lot of forward throws, particularly hip techniques and forward hand techniques. All right? And a retreating 90 is
And in a little bit, I'll show you some more throws though with the bigger dummy, right?
The faster you can